think it's on the floor. Oh, there we go. Hey folks, welcome to this episode of Shallibodhran. And today, as promised, I'm not doing too much of this single stuff today. Much as I love it, we're looking at some of Colm Murphy's double-ended sort of playing. So for this, we need the quintessential double-ended tipper for the player and an untaped head drum. In this case, I'm using my Bridget 16-inch drum. So all the tight compressing sound is going to have to be from my body taking care of that work for me. So I'm going to be doing these in little short bursts instead of a long 10-minute video because I wanted to highlight something kind of interesting in the playing. It is playing in a matter of speaking of what I wrote up on the last thing online, was that it's simple and it's regular. It's regular in that he doesn't deviate too much from it. You never hear him deviating too much however he's playing. Very nice. And it's simple in that it's not too complicated. So you don't get a lot of sort of the very ornate stuff. You don't get that too much. You get a more straightforward sort of type of playing from him. And the most difficult thing out of all of this in the playing isn't so much the double-ended playing. For me, it's how he's holding the drum. And normally if I'm holding it here. You can see through right there, you can see where it's hitting. Also separates him quite a bit from Johnny Ringo. That Johnny does a lot more variance on the back of that drum. He's not. He's pretty straightforward in there. But the difficult thing I've been finding is how he's holding it. If you've noticed on some of the drums he uses, he has a brass knob that he's gripping here. And he's holding it very tightly. He's actually got it wedged here. He's holding it, and his pressure is coming from the front. So normally, from the back, the problem is it flops around a bit. You typically have this pivoting point. Most of us are somewhere in the middle. But this doesn't seem to be the case. He seems to be doing some of his walking bass stuff through here. And I find it very hard because I have nothing to grip on here. So I'm going to have to wedge it in my leg to make this work, make any sort of sense. And normally when I'm playing, if I'm playing here, I'm pressing up here. Part of the bass is. If I want to cut it out, I'm playing up and into it, or down and into it, but I'm not deviating much from the center. Quick reel sort of thing. That sort of idea. That's not the case. He's right up here, and he's playing from center and out. So that's where the choke is. And again, I apologize because I have no ball here or piece to grip onto. So try to uncomfortably emulate this here. This makes any sort of sense. I have seen when he plays, he does cross his leg over, but it wedges it there. I also like how he lowers his head so we can get a really clear idea of what, rather than being in sort of a bit of a more of a dead zone of sound. He's not hearing all the intricacies of it. Sort of idea. And the highlighted part one of this is just understanding how he hits it from here and out at the front. I have to turn this, and hopefully I can make this work, but my apologies again. This is not normally how I would ever wish myself to play, but to get that time trying to keep balance with it. So how can I mimic it and not fall over in my chair and sit more comfortably? Well, I don't change a whole lot because it's really more so about how you're gripping it. You know, you can do the same thing with no change to your playing. Get the same set of sounds more or less. And if you're using a miking system, maybe you'd want to experiment on how much reverb you put in and compression and whatnot to see if you can sort of emulate some of those classic recordings. But we all know that recordings and mic settings are not the real thing. And I'm pretty sure that this drum is so far different from the one you would normally use. So the things I wanted to highlight, and I'll be carrying it over into the next one with Colm Murphy, is just highlighting how friggin' difficult it is, I find, to sit and play the way that he's playing in such a situation. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he can keep... I find it phenomenally uncomfortable to play because you're bent like this. Playing. Your spine's all crunched up. I don't know how he does it. Honestly, I don't know how he does it. I'm trying to figure it out. I can't figure it out. I need a chiropractor to answer those questions. In the next video, it's going to be more about trends in his playing. Trends in his playing, so that I can highlight what I mean more so by simple playing and regular playing. Okay, so see you then.